In a world, 4 friends, 1 mission, to bring freedom to everyone involved.
Dude, what the fuck are you doing?
Doing a thing for the podcast.
Dude, just say the name.
Fine. It's the Freedom Friends podcast. Fucking we're doing it live!
Oh! I think it was a racist you said it.
What the fuck is up, everybody? It is us, the Freedom Friends. I'm Mikey. That's Jazz. That's Scott. And that is John. I'm gonna fucking mix y'all up.
And it's Thursday.
It's Thursday.
John, what does that mean?
Dang. We're masturbating.
It's time for another Freedom Friends Master Debates.
It's like
And,
a
unlike
circle jerk,
usual-
but everyone's doing it on their own.
I have absolutely no idea what the fuck we're debating this week because
No
apparently
idea.
Mikey has come.
It's a secret.
We have one.
come
Yeah.
prepared.
It's a
Well,
secret.
all right. So some backstory on this. Justin and I were watching a.
I don't even know
Whoa,
what you were just
yeah,
were
this is
watching.
weird story already.
We were watching sports. All right. We were watching an ESPN
Hey, I've
interview.
So
I've
that's what
seen
the
some
kids call
movies that I would
nowadays.
call
Well,
fucking sports.
We were watching. We were watching a
Contact
We were watching a
sports.
YouTube show. We were watching a YouTube show that had 2
on
sportscasters on it.
XNXX, right?
on
No,
XNXX.
it was on YouTube. This was G-rated. No, I'll call it PG. Call it PG.
Oh.
And the
not
question
animated.
came up, and it was, do you consider e-gaming or esports an actual sport?
Oh, Jesus.
Like video game playing?
Correct.
Yeah. Like they do like Madden tournaments.
Are you
and all
Are
kinds
you aware of
stuff.
what esports are now considered?
No, that's why I'm
Jazz,
kind of
hit us with that. Tell
So-
us,
I
know
explain
you
to us what
know.
esports are.
So esports is the idea of competitive video game playing.
Okay.
It is typically not things like there are some stuff that you'll see on ESPN where they'll have the pro players play Madden and stuff like that. That is not esports.
No.
So esports will be things like real-time strategy games, what is known as a MOBA, which is things like League of Legends and things like that.
Okay.
Fortnite, Call of Duty, and they will have these rather large purse prizes for video game playing. There's professional teams, there's sponsors, they have coaches. They come out in jerseys and they play and they do this whole thing.
I've
and they're
seen
playing
this on
for
the TV show Ballers.
Yes.
Okay.
That's esports.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
Like
and
esports.
they're playing for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I have a
like,
question before we even get any.
It's
any
millions
further
now,
in
right?
this.
Like I know, like it's a lot of money.
I have a question before we get any further in this. So I understand like a coach in real sports, right?
Can you throw me some more H2O?
That coach might have gotten hurt. That coach might have physical limitations. That coach might have something that doesn't allow him to physically compete in that sport, right? Mm-hmm. But they're some of the best coaches in the entire world because they understand things in a level, in a way that other people don't. But they just don't have the ability to act.
Sure,
on
a
them.
lot of that is the
Those who
same
can't
thing as
do
far
teach,
as
those who can't teach Jim.
So, but if you're an esports, if you're an esports coach, what physical capabilities
It's an understanding-
don't allow you to
It's an
handle a
understanding-
video game controller?
So-
Well, this is my argument that I don't believe, and this is just me, I don't believe the esports should be considered a sport.
well,
I believe there should be a physical aspect on
that's
this.
I have a feeling that that's a debate that we're going to get into.
Okay.
But
So I
can
will.
we talk about the coach real quick
Okay,
first?
so what I will say about an esports coach is a lot of what that is an understanding of high level strategy or pattern recognition that the players may not be recognizing. They can execute it once identified, but aren't seeing it from a high level strategy standpoint.
Okay.
So is the difference between strategy
So more
and
of a
tactics.
tactician.
Well, it's the difference between strategy and tactics.
Okay.
Okay, so a lot of, let's bring this back to the military. So you have strategy
Yeah.
that is typically existing on the officer level,
yeah,
right?
planning level. Yep.
And then you have tactics, which are where you physically train in order to execute given tactics. As soon as you, and then when they were told, here's your objective, here's how you need to execute, that is a tactical response to the situation,
so-
but it's not necessarily a strategy response.
So a coach is like a captain in an S shop, and a
Yes.
player is like an E5 or an E6 in
Exactly.
a line unit.
So
Okay.
that's how you actually have to break out as far as esports are concerned.
Okay.
Typically what it is regulated to is somebody is understanding strategy, is able to explain that strategy on the tactics that are being used and how to approach, and then teaching that pattern recognition into the players.
I wish.
Now, I'm not talking about coaching.
Right, but
I'm
he
talking
was,
about-
and I was covering
Is
that
this,
fucking base
is
for
this
him.
an actual Sports.
So let me interject here because I'm gonna go to a medium, right? So you have sports, football, baseball, basketball, right? Then you have what I call my sports, golf, because I can drink, shooting, racing, pool, because I can drink. The drinking sports. I call them the drinking sports.
Bowling?
Because you can
racing
bowling.
should not be a drinking sport.
should
but
race and
It
drink.
can be.
Well,
It should
however,
be.
have you ever
It
done?
can
race, then you drink.
Have you ever done the Mario Kart drinking game?
No, but
I've
I am
Well,
100%
that's
in.
that's
Yeah,
probably
but
a
I
new
mean-
sport.
I don't know what it is, but I'm
Holy
in. Let's do this.
So
Like,
it's
you
so
have
the
to do your
rules
shot
are
when you hit a red turtle?
no. So the rules are you have to drink a beer every lap.
Done.
However, your vehicle you cannot drink and drive.
Can I wear one of those hats with the
Oh.
straws?
So
that's
so here's the
brilliant.
deal: you have to bring your cart to a complete stop.
yeah, you don't want to drink and drive. That's against
Exactly.
the law.
Nice.
In order to drink, but you cannot finish the lap
Until your beer's gone.
until your beer's done.
Oh, please.
And it's
Hey,
3
can-
laps in a Mario Kart race.
So, but is this in real go-karts or just video
So
games?
there is a video of it done in real go-karts, and it went horribly wrong.
That's perfect.
Who has-
So we should rent out the
K1 speed.
yes.
K1 speed, give us money.
Like, hey,
Who
this
has
is
a-
our rules.
Give us
Who,
money, give us
who
money.
has a video game platform that has Nintendo? Because we need to do
Me.
this as a Freedom
I'm
Friend.
Nintendo.
Freedom Friends.
I have a Nintendo.
Yes. We
I have
need
the Nintendo Classic.
Switch?
I have the Classic.
Oh, so I want to get. I'm probably going to get a Switch specifically for Mario Kart 8.
we need to do this
Wow,
as
I'm
the
so out
Freedom
of the
Friends and have a little competition.
Yeah, it'd be amazing.
Guys, we got to get back. I want to know your opinion.
Okay,
Oh,
so
So where I was going with that is you have sports, you have my sports, and then esports. Going into this cold, not knowing what the topic was be, I'm going to say esports is not a sport, but I am very uneducated here, so I'm willing to listen. But initially
Okay.
going into this,
okay,
I think we
so
need
I
more
was just given
information
information.
before we can make
Almost
our
all of us have
decisions.
heard about Fortnite, correct?
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
my
So,
kids are
I don't
athletes.
understand
apparently,
it, but-
apparently, the Fortnite World Cup, the prize pool is a total of $30 million that
God
is being
damn.
given out for Fortnite.
I wouldn't call it a sport. I'd call it an activity.
Scott,
Okay.
why
Or
are
a
your
competition.
boys competing?
So here's what I will ask.
I'm going to go on a limb and say that you believe this is to be a sport.
I'm not saying one thing
we haven't gotten there yet.
here or the other.
Okay.
I have a
We're
series of,
gathering intel.
I have a series
information.
of questions to ask you.
Okay.
Is reflex a physical prowess?
To an
I
extent,
see,
yes.
I see what you're doing
Yes.
here.
Yes. And this and we had this conversation.
Is tactile dexterity a physical prowess?
What
Okay.
dexterity
So
is.
before we go into this, I just Googled the definition of sport. An activity involving physical exertion and skill in which an individual or team competes against another for entertainment.
Okay, now Google esports.
Or skill, correct?
A physical exertion and skill,
Okay.
not
Google,
or.
now Google
So-
esports.
So hold on. It's fine. We'll just go off the definition of sport because esports going to have its own thing,
Yeah.
right? So we're just going to go off the definition of sport because we are trying to decide if esports is actually sports, which means we have to go by the definition of sport.
So it has
Okay,
to have physical activity
I'm
and
gonna
skill.
follow this with the definition of esport: a multiplayer video game played competitively for spectators, typically by professional gamers.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So fair enough. But now we have the definition of sport and what they are calling e-sport.
Right.
Now, how many at this bar have seen and or participated in precision rifle sport?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
How many of those
Well, I've seen
guys?
I've seen
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Right. So you've seen it,
I've seen
right?
it. I've never participated.
Synced it.
I synced it.
How many of those shooters do you think could keep up with your average infantry guy physically?
Fucking
Probably,
30.
honestly, probably 30, 40%.
40%.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many of them would you say would probably get winded going up a flight of stairs?
About 60 to 70%.
Okay. So we're okay.
But now you have, now,
Now, does it take a certain amount of reflex to participate in PRS?
Yeah.
yes.
Of course.
Does it take a certain amount of
Skill.
skill and dexterity to participate in PRS?
Yes.
Does it take a certain amount of control to participate in PRS?
Any sport, all those, yes.
Okay, is PRS a sport?
Shooting competitive shooting is a sport.
Okay, so all of those that we just stated
Yeah.
are the exact same skills necessary to compete at the level that we're talking about that is classified as esports.
See,
So as you're doing an esport, do you have to run and physically get into?
Well, my thing is like these guys when they train, are they like in the gym for 4 or 5 hours
Yeah,
a day?
they are actually, because a lot of these games start going for 10, 12 hours. So it is you end up with a both mental and physical stamina point that you have to hit.
Scott, do
So
me a
these
favor.
guys
Google-
physically train as
Google
well as skill train.
athlete. Tell me what the fucking definition of athlete is. Because if we're going off
But now-
definitions,
now let's touch
someone
bit-
who plays a video game to me is not an athlete.
Yeah.
All right, an athletic person. Which is why
But
I believe that
let's go
sports
back onto shooting for a second
go into
here because
athleticism, which is why, and this is going to chap some asses. I don't think shooting is really a sport.
Why is it in the Olympics?
Not in the definition in which I think of sports.
What-
Is it a
bi-
competition?
biathlon.
Absolutely.
yeah, that's why.
biathlon.
No, like 3-gun and stuff like
Hey, look,
that.
if you've, got a
that's
fucking,
sport.
if you've got a ski
But
and
no,
play
no, no.
video games,
I'm
that's a fucking
taking-
sport.
That's
I
a fucking
know,
sport.
listen,
But in that I will agree.
But that's no listen. Now listen. That's what I'm trying to say.
The
Right? Okay, so shooting in general, like PRS style shooting,
It's not a
right?
sport.
I don't consider that a
not a
sport.
sport.
And I
Yeah.
competed in that.
It's not a sport.
I don't consider
The
it a
def-
sport.
Biathlon, that is a fucking
Fucking
sport.
hell, right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now,
The-
but you're taking shooting and involving a physical aspect in it to make it a sport.
The
And we all
definition.
just
Hold on, let's hear your athlete.
The definition of athlete is a person who is proficient in sports and other forms of physical exercise.
But so we all just agreed that PRS, actually just
Doesn't really
laying
help.
down in the prone or getting in a position and shooting is not really considered a sport.
Right.
But you throw in that physical aspect of the biathlon, you know, like
Yeah,
you're
I'll give you that all day.
You're cross country
Sure.
skiing with a rifle on your back
No.
and then stopping, hitting fucking tiny little targets and then
100%.
moving out. Your heart rate's up, your physical capabilities are there, like the whole nine. That is now considered a sport, right?
Not-
Here's
My point
here's
is not
and I
another
every
think that's why
competition-
they're trying to pull the title, right?
Like
is
not every competition is a sport.
here's
No,
another
I
definition of athlete.
Totally agree with you. Like, I would not call a competitive chess player
Right?
an athlete.
Here's another
Are
def-
they amazing at what they do?
Here's-
100%.
They're
Here-
a phenomenal person.
Here's another definition of athlete: a person who is trained or skilled in exercise, sports, or games requiring a physical strength, agility, or stamina.
See, that goes more in
Now,
line with my
but
definition of
I'm
athleticism.
assuming that what they classify as games aren't per se.
Wait a
I
minute,
think they're talking
hold
about
on, hold
like
on, hold on.
discus,
Hold
Yeah.
on.
shot put.
No, hold on.
Video game.
What was the last part of that definition?
I'll read it again: a person who is trained or skilled in exercise, sports, or games requiring physical strength, agility, or stamina.
Okay.
Oh, or so you need one of
stamina.
the three.
So if you were talking
I
about
think we need to
some
call
of these
Webster on this.
some of these esport games that start going
First
10, 12
definition.
hours,
Oh, this is the Webster definition.
That's what I meant.
and
I
we're
think we
going
need
10
to-
or 12 hours on this stuff, that is definitely a stamina check, especially a mental stamina check.
Correct.
And to hold that level of dexterity, because a
not saying
lot
it's
of
not
that is
mentally
split
exhausting.
second
Now,
decisions.
which-
So
Which-
if but
dictionary is
but
more
okay,
liberal
so
dictionary?
so Jazz, so Jazz,
urban.
by your
Athlete, someone who
Yeah,
looks good.
look up athlete on Urban Dictionary. Let's see what
Wait,
that
wait.
is. I'm doing it right
so
now.
Jazz, you say that these competitions are 12 hours, but what? Okay, so if that defines you as an athlete in a sport, what happens if you play a 20-minute game versus a 12-hour game? Like, is it just the length of the game that defines
So
that,
my thing is,
or is it the?
it's a really, really hard definition. I think that's why they haven't decided to call it's a gaming sport. I think that's literally why they went with esport. It is a new definition.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, do I think gaming should be allowed into the Olympics? No. Like, I don't at all.
Well, I think
The Greeks
I think
did not
that
have.
I think the X
Well,
Games
the Greeks didn't
had
have
to
ping
fight their
pong
way in.
either, but that shit's still in the Olympics.
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
let's not get caught up in what the
Right.
Greeks said.
I'm just saying. I'm a
'Cause, like-
traditionalist when it comes to my Olympic sports.
Sure, but
know,
are you
my-
gonna call any of the professional cyclists
What's
not
the-
athletes?
So
Absolutely not.
So what about?
But they're in the
Hey,
Olympics.
hey,
Do you think that they deserve to be there?
Yeah,
Mikey,
that's two different things.
Mikey,
I'm
what-
not saying
what-
that. I'm
Mikey.
not on the
Greeks didn't
Olympic-
have bicycles.
Mikey.
I'm not on the Olympic fucking committee.
Mikey, what about curling?
I'm not talking Winter Olympics because they didn't have Winter Olympics either. You know what I mean?
Because curling's not that physical.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm just saying the Freedom Friends could have a fucking curling team.
I don't know if we'd be good at it.
I just want to be
No,
a
it'd
guy
be
with a
great.
sweeper.
I want to be the person that throws a rock and yells and screams. Ah! Ah! Whoa!
Look, what I call an esports competitor.
One of my Marines in Baltimore was a shout out Zach Knapp. He was on his high school curling team.
Nice. Nice.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say this. I think what we're getting caught up in is esport a sport or esports participants athletes. I think that's where we have the break. So I'm gonna actually change the argument and say, is esports a sport, or are the esport competitors athletes?
Well, I think they go hand in hand.
I think that's.
I don't think they do.
I think it's two different questions.
It is two
I
different.
agree with Jazz on that.
I think it's two different questions.
things.
I don't think. All right, so I don't think it's a sport because it does not take athleticism in a traditional sense
Now,
to play it.
I've
And
never watched.
athleticism. I say, like, I think of someone like an athlete. The majority of professional athletes that we watch every day. All right, if I was to give me a fucking pro athlete off the top of your head. Pro athlete.
Let's talk about Tom
Mike
Brady.
Tyson.
Mike Tyson. All right, Mike Tyson.
John
is
Daly.
is a professional athlete.
Yeah, John Daly.
All right.
No, John Daly. John Daly.
I'll get there.
Perfect
I'll
example.
get there.
Fucking John Daly.
I'll get there.
No, I don't want to get there. I don't want to
But-
fucking talk about
No,
Tom
let-
Brady.
well, I
I don't
wanna
want to
see where
talk
this
about
goes.
the
I don't-
I wanna
exceptional
see where this
1%.
goes.
I
Arnold-
want to talk about
Arnold
fucking.
Palmer.
I'm
I
talking-
wanna
I want to
see
talk
where
about
this
John
goes.
fucking Daly.
Let him
Let me
finish.
finish because I'll get there.
I want to talk about bad haircut, huge beer gut, doesn't know when the fuck to shut up. That's what I
Amazing
want to
pants.
fucking talk about.
You're
Amazing
talking to
pants.
him.
Amazing pants. John Daly always comes through with the loudmouth pants, and I appreciate that about him. But
They named a drink after Arnold Palmer. Like, come
just because
on.
the dude wanted to mix shit in his fucking vodka doesn't.
Dude, it's just sweet. It's just
I know it's
tea and lemonade.
It's tea and
But he
lemonade.
competed on a professional level.
Correct. And I'll get there. I'll get to golf.
Okay.
If you took Mike Tyson,
Yep.
probably not now.
Oh, why not?
Dude,
He's
did
still
you see
badass.
that?
take
Hold
him
on.
now.
Yeah.
Did you see
Yeah.
that video that came out like
I'd take
2
him
months
now.
ago?
Yeah.
Where they were like trying to show him the combination. He was like, no, you're doing it wrong.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
he like fucking was like, whack, whack, and like pulled all those 90-degree things. And I was like, dude, you don't want to catch that fucking smoke.
So,
That shit would be
hell
so
no.
bad.
So Mike Tyson, all right. I guarantee you, Mike Tyson can play basketball better than fucking
Probably.
top 10%.
Probably.
He can play baseball better than your top 10%.
You know what? I have a counter argument for that.
He could play fucking football.
Michael
which-
Jordan on the White Sox.
still better than you and me, bud.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's
Like
better
he
than
still
Todd
went
Kemp,
yard
yeah.
out of fucking
You
Kaminsky
know-
Park.
you know,
what I mean? Like
on Mike-
Homeboy also ran into a fence because he
Time
didn't
out,
understand
though.
what the fuck
Yeah,
was
but
going
everybody's
on.
done that.
And then
Time
got
out, though.
pushed to the minors.
On Mikey,
Michael Jordan.
On Mikey's
because he's no Bo
defense.
Jackson.
okay, well
on-
Tim Tebow.
on Mikey's
Tim Tebow.
on Mikey's defense with
You know,
Michael
I guarantee
Jackson.
you Tim can play basketball too. I'm guarantee you he could play fucking
Better
hockey.
than-
No, I'll
Yeah.
give you that.
skate.
Because
You
like
know what I
Tim
mean?
Duncan was going to be an Olympic fucking swimmer till
Yeah.
a hurricane happened.
Yeah.
And then he became a fucking.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
how many fucking
give you that.
How many guys were in fucking college basketball scholarships that now play in the NFL? A number of them.
Sure.
You know, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying?
I think the
So
argument
my point
becomes-
is that's an athlete to me. And this is just to me. I'm not going off the Webster dictionary
So-
definition. I'm like, that is an athlete.
So you would classify an athlete as somebody that is able to, with exceptional human performance.
Exceptional human performance. Yes.
Would you call the skill set that is laid forward in these games and the reaction times that they have exceptional human performance?
Physical performance.
So
I go off of a physical aspect. All
But
right?
now-
Not,
hold
am I
on,
saying
hold on,
that
hold
it's
on,
not
hold on.
mentally exhausting? I'm sure it is.
Hold on.
Is it not impressive? Yes, it is impressive.
Let,
You know what I mean?
Let-
Like I'm not saying that it's not a
let's-
fucking difficult activity.
let's put it in a training or a ramp up process of,
And now to go to golf.
get to that level.
I don't think golf's a
What
sport
about
either.
what about an exceptional pool player?
Churchill
Yeah.
said that a golf is a walk gone bad.
But so
I don't think golf is a sport, so I'm going off my own personal opinion.
everything
course,
that
then
you
you're
were
gonna
talking
look at
about
Churchill. Man
the
after my own heart.
about these professional
Fucking
athletes,
existed on
these people
cigars and
that
whiskey.
that have an exceptional physical capability greater than anybody else on this planet, except for the people that perform at the level that they're at. These
Then you
people
have to call them.
but
then you have to call them.
But the majority of these people have found this talent very young at life, or somebody saw this talent in these people very young at life,
Yeah.
and they've worked their fucking ass off
Yeah.
to get to the level that they're at. Okay,
100%.
now
I think
I
genetics
don't
play some
hold on.
sort of part. in
I
that.
don't. I
I will give
I'm
you
on
as
the
far as
fence.
like football, basketball, and stuff like that. But to his point, and what he's
I'm on
saying
the fence
is,
between esports is an actual sport or not a sport. But if you think of these guys that or girls that are competing at a professional level per se on playing video games, like
I'm about to throw a wrench in this one.
these people have trained. Mind you, it's a different type of training, but they have trained for years and years and years out of their life to get to the level to be able to compete.
And I also will say that a lot of those guys that do compete, it is not, they've become amazingly proficient at this title and are very, very good at it.
Wait,
you can literally change their whatever game they're playing, and they still perform at that level. Like, this is not I've just gotten damn good at Call of Duty. You can literally change any of that stuff out, and they still compete at that level.
So my kids have told me
the ones that are competing for $30 million. Trust me, you can swap the title, and they're
every
fine.
single player in the NFL could play basketball better than your average fucking Joe.
Dude, there's people playing in the NFL right now that shouldn't be playing in the NFL.
Well, but like every single player in the in the Major League Baseball could play basketball better than we could. Could play fucking basketball better than your average Joe.
No, but we're talking about
sure.
now.
I can also outshoot everybody in the fucking NFL.
Sure,
but that doesn't like
100%.
So, am I an athlete?
No.
And we'll leave the whole Spartan thing out of it. I'm just saying. Like,
that still doesn't make you an athlete. No kidding.
Mr. Two Trifectas. Kind of.
Try harder. I don't know what to tell you. So, here, I will.
Do you see my point in this?
Okay,
It's
I'm
physical.
I'm gonna put an
ability.
interesting situation into this. All of the Freedom Friends came to my house for our Christmas shindig.
We did. Had a great time. Thank you for the invite.
Fucking awesome time.
I also got every single one of you to put on my VR headset.
and I will say, out of everybody who played, I think your wife is the best
My wife is a
athlete.
fucking monster.
Oh my god! When she got behind that, I was like,
Now,
holy
The best part is like
shit.
I'm like sweating trying to do it, and she's like dancing as she's doing it. I'm like, fuck you.
That's the secret.
She made it look easy and good.
I figured
God
out
damn
one
it.
song.
Yeah.
The one song I dedicated to. But but I have had you come over and play a new title that I got.
Yeah.
Oh, and I want to do that so
It's
bad.
fun too. It's fun.
But at the end of playing it, was there a physical element to playing that game?
I was gassed. This is also VR.
That's
This is not
different than
sitting-
fucking Call of Duty.
This is a physical aspect.
Here's my
though.
point. Justin, could you do me a favor and on the tablet or whatever, could you pull up an OmniTrack treadmill?
Oh, I've seen one of those.
Is everybody familiar with what an OmniTrack
I
is?
am actually. Yeah.
So an OmniTrack is literally, it looks like a bowl.
Yeah, it's a 360.
It's a
treadmill,
360 degree treadmill. So you can now actually play titles like Call of Duty and all of that stuff where you have.
But do they
Full
play
human-
that when they compete?
It's not there yet.
That'd be a different story.
See, that's
but
My
we're not
point
there
is-
yet, so we don't
Okay.
need
to
to.
change a physical
I'm
aspect.
getting there. Hold on.
Can you imagine the best video game player getting
Actually-
on that and like getting gassed and like,
So
breathing the whole time.
here we go. This is an OmniTrack.
I would
If
say-
anybody hasn't seen it,
I would say that the guy who's like the
Yeah.
world champion at Dance Dance Revolution, I
Athlete, yeah.
I
Fucking
might
dude's a
borderline
champ.
calling him
So here's my deal.
in a sport.
So where we live in San Antonio, my favorite movie theater is a movie theater called Evo Entertainment.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too.
Absolutely phenomenal theater.
I
It's
agree
not just a
100%.
theater. It has that full arcade and a bowling alley.
they
full
deliver
bar.
you drinks.
Yeah.
They will
While
bring you
you're
drinks to your
like-
table. And by the way, it's
Little
only
garçon button on your seat, dude.
and it's $1 to have a double.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what you put in it either.
Yeah,
I didn't know- did not know
And,
this.
and
It's $1
and
for
it's
a
a
double.
scratch kitchen.
Yep.
Like you can get like scratch kitchen food there. It's
So
amazing.
when was the last time? When was the last time you were there?
Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you see that giant box?
I went and saw Star Wars.
Did you see that giant box that is now in the arcade?
The lady behind the
I
counter?
didn't go to the arcade. I just walked straight in, went to
So-
my movie and left.
Next time you go to the bar,
Okay.
literally, so there's the bar and there's the bowling alley.
Uh-huh.
Literally, so if you're looking at the bowling alley
It was the lady in the bar had a
to
giant
your
box.
to your 10 o'clock,
Behind the counter.
she's an outstanding bartender, but yeah, I'm pretty sure she's
Bless
got a
her
fucking giant box.
Yeah.
To your about your 10 o'clock,
Good for her.
there's going to be a giant black box.
It's a
Oh,
black
I
box.
didn't see
Yeah.
that one.
So in
Hey,
there, I
sister,
believe there
soul
are
sister.
there are
Better
6
get that
rigs,
dough, sister.
and
Yeah.
literally just competing in that one, there is a $100,000 prize pool
What?
for
Really?
competing in a VR, and it is a VR shooter. It is literally like Call of Duty in VR, and just on those platforms, it's a $100,000 prize pool.
So what about like what was that game?
So my question is, if you are competing for $100,000, even though it's virtual, at that point you are competing for $100,000.
You're a professional athlete.
Are you? Is that an esports athlete?
Maybe.
That is an electronic interface, and that is full physical exertion. That is going to require you to.
Well, it depends.
To run, crouch, jump.
If there's a physical aspect
I've
to
never
it.
played that game, but if I go play that game and I win and I get $100,000, I am not a professional athlete.
Well, no, but if you were literally just making your living off of that.
Well, I know, but so I think maybe we need to get some like data on this, and we need to go through and figure out like are these people physically in shape, and are they physically using?
Here's what I think we are falling victim to. It's an emerging industry.
Yeah, it's traditional,
and
we're falling victim
really
of using
don't
traditional
know,
definitions.
And we are trying to use traditional definitions for an emerging industry.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And the problem with that is this industry is going to evolve. And as it evolves, but I think what they've done is they have titled it the best they can for what it is.
But so there's been new
Well,
sports.
that brings my question to you. As it sits right now, esports, as it sits.
Is it a sport?
Is it a sport?
Yeah.
Okay, minus.
You believe it's a sport? Because of the mental dexterity.
Minus
Is there a male and female league?
Yes, actually.
Is there? That doesn't make sense to me.
No.
That doesn't make sense to me. You're not at a fucking physical advantage as a male.
There's not.
It's all one? Okay.
Yeah, you're all
at least
competing
they got that going for them.
Yeah, they don't need to worry about that
It's just the
transgender
majority
shit
of the
in sports.
But by the way, the majority of the
Don't
professional
worry about
teams
fucking
are male
the
dominant.
transgender
You know what, though?
wrestler
I'll
senior
bet
that's
you.
beating
Yeah.
the shit out of my
I'll
daughter.
bet you,
Yeah.
I'll bet you the transgender video gamers are fucking balls.
No shit. So the Army actually has an esports team.
Well, they do. All right.
Fucking nerds.
Well, which brings me
No kidding.
full circle into this. And
Well, considering we just schwacked a dude via video game.
And the point of my entire reasoning behind wanting this thing goes to, I don't believe it's a sport. So by that rationale, do I also not believe that drone pilots are pilots?
warfighters?
Well,
no.
pilots.
Here's the better question.
They're not pilots.
Are drone pilots warfighters?
I think
yes.
they are. I think
But
they
I
are
don't think they're
warfighters.
pilots.
So I
Because they're-
feel like the definition of a
put
warfighter.
rounds on target. That's a warfighter.
The definition of a warfighter, in my opinion, is anybody that's going to bring it to the enemy.
Yeah, I mean,
Anybody that's
you
gonna-
can be a medic. You can be.
and it
a,
doesn't matter what
yeah,
their
You don't have to be,
title
You're
is.
fighting
You don't
a
have
war.
to be a trigger puller
So-
to be a warfighter.
No.
Yeah.
war.
Okay.
You're fighting a
So-
war.
Okay.
And it doesn't even have to be
So-
somebody that does it against an enemy
Based
or to
on
an
that,
overseas.
I think what we have is an emerging industry that they have titled the best they can for where it's at.
Yep.
I do believe the evolution of it is going to become, as VR is becoming more prevalent and more affordable, because it used to be fucking untouchable.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it was just so fucking expensive to be able to do it. It's become literally for $300 you can get one that just uses your cell phone. And you can you can do it right here. Like it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
As it becomes more prevalent, I do think you are going to see an evolution of the sport.
Have you watched VR porn?
No.
Don't.
I was told
don't,
not to.
Don't do it.
It's amazing.
No,
I
it's
was
not.
told not
It's
to by
awesome.
somebody who I'm going to take solid
Is it-
advice from, and that person was Jazz.
Don't do it. He's fucking lying to you.
Why?
I'm not
I
doing
bought
it.
the thing.
Fucking
Now I
lying
can
to
sit
you.
your phone in there.
No.
VR
Not
porn.
doing it.
VR porn is a trap.
Not
Don't
doing
listen
it.
to him.
Is it addicting or what?
No, it's fucking awful.
It's a dick.
Ting.
Ting.
So
I don't
here's
know,
the
man.
problem.
I thought it was kind of awesome.
It is 300.
Now, did you get the VR?
Maybe I'm weird.
Did you get the one that it's a VR headset that's hooked up to the flashlight?
No.
That would be.
So
that might
there
be a
is
sport.
there is technology called a 360-degree camera, and it's
Yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
what it sounds like. It records 360 degrees at the same time.
Yeah.
Now, I will give you, at certain angles, it makes it look like you were just about to go fucking swan dive into a fucking fine-looking snatch. Till you turn around. And then that angle,
And then you see the production team, or
that
what?
angle is a movie theater sized cock that is coming right at your fucking face.
Oh, see,
Jazz.
I
never
Stop
turned
turning
didn't
around.
do that. Like, maybe I was on the cheap Pornhub version.
No.
turned
Okay, you were just watching porn in a headset.
Yeah.
I'm
Eyes
not
on
talking about
objective.
watching porn in a headset because that's just like watching porn on a big screen.
Yeah.
No.
It's like first person
I'm
shooter.
talking.
No.
I'm talking about.
Literally.
I'm talking about virtual reality porn where they have actually
well,
recorded
so,
it specifically
I think-
for being in a
Now,
VR
I
headset.
think
and
the
that-
virtual
and it is
reality,
terrifying.
for virtual reality porn, I would not want to be a person. I would want to be the dick.
No, I don't know if I'd want to be that either.
Trust me. Okay, so look.
Could you put a small camera
So-
on your pee hole?
Dude, I get motion sickness.
So the program I was in at film school was a pilot program, and I was literally the guinea pig. I was the first one in it.
Oh, this is gonna be great. I want to hear the rest of it.
And
You
a
have
lot-
my complete attention
Yeah.
right now.
So here's my no shit
my
during the
interest.
debate.
So,
So I was the guinea pig for it. So what we were getting was actually beta copies of like the Oculus Rift.
No, they're called master debater
Yeah.
copies.
Exactly. So we got like the Oculus Rift, the HTC Vive. Samsung sent us 10 of their phones and 10 of the headsets that the phones are supposed to mount in. Like they were just sending us equipment for us to test it, create new content, test new content, and all that kind of stuff. And like any emerging media, the first people to adopt and figure out how to monetize is the porn industry.
Yeah.
So it was me. I was the guinea pig, but at the same time was also kind of creating what this program was going to look like going forward. And now I'm very proud of my university. They actually have like the program for AR, VR, like non-traditional media and stuff like that. So I'm very proud to say that I was there when we had like no fucking money and we were making our own rigs and all this kind of stuff. So, of course, working with some of the other people that were there, knowing that the number one industry that drives any sort of media revolution is porn, we fucking decided that we wanted to see what 360-degree porn would look like in a VR headset.
Please
because
tell
it
me
existed.
you made it.
We didn't make it.
we
Made it. Started it.
wrecked him. Damn near killed him.
It's fucking terrifying. Like it is awful because it would be like seeing that's mine.
Put it in the fridge. Tell Rob. Drink it.
It would be like walking in on somebody having sex and they go, "Hey, why don't you join in?"
Put your head right here.
But the only thing you're allowed to
While
do
you're going down, you happen to look to your right. and
Right.
just, no.
But the only thing you're allowed to do is put your face at angles where you're gonna catch something in the eye. Like that's VR porn. Like it's fucking awful. There's
Okay.
no way for that camera
Okay,
to work.
so that's definitely not the kind that I watched.
Right. So you did what's called theater mode,
Yeah.
which every VR headset
We're
will do.
getting way off topic.
Yeah,
Let
we
this
are.
go
Yeah,
to debate.
let's
So
get back on to esports.
My point is,
Wow.
yes, I do believe that esports is properly titled. I just think we are going to see an evolution of it. I do
Okay,
think it is an exhibition of.
Can we
Skill.
Can
I
we,
think it's an exhibition of skill,
Not
and I think it is.
necessarily athleticism.
Can we agree?
I didn't say athleticism.
No, but I'm saying not necessarily athleticism.
Well,
But
unless
of
you were
skill.
going to go off reflex timing, dexterity,
So let's
all of those pieces. Those are physical
Yeah.
attributes that you have to train to be good at.
Can we agree that esports can be considered a sport, but the people that compete in it
Are not athletes.
aren't considered athletes?
Yes, I would totally agree to that
Yeah,
definition.
I'm good with that.
Not me. I still think it's a sport. I'm sorry, man. I just don't think it's a sport. Like by my own personal definition, I don't feel that it's a sport.
In
Cheerleader.
a very, very extremely traditional definition of
Mikey?
a sport.
What are sport fans called?
Cheerleaders.
There you go.
In a very, very basic
That I conceded to.
basic
That is a
definition
true thing.
of a sport
Your brother was so
is a
fucking mad.
competition between people doing a certain thing.
Right.
Right?
It's a competition between. It's a
That's like the
it's
basic
a trial of
the-
competitors
Yeah.
to see who has the maximum amount of skill.
Yeah.
So,
See,
so
that's the
by
most
that
basic
definition,
of
by
it.
that definition, hogging is a sport.
It could be, but the people that compete in it are
That's
not
that's
athletes.
a discussion, right? That's a discussion
don't
for
know,
another
man.
time. But I've won decent money in that sport.
But do you consider yourself an athlete?
I've never competed.
Dude, sometimes you need some manual
Yeah,
dexterity
you
to
gotta have a
fucking
little
handle
bit
some of that
you gotta
shit.
have a little physical prowess for that.
I've had buddies that competed against me that were definitely not athletes, but have won.
Any given Sunday, man.
You know what I mean? So can we agree on that esports is
Sport, but
considered
not
a
athletes.
sport, but the people that compete in it are not athletes.
Just like the
Yes,
Navy.
No.
I will agree to that.
I don't think it's a sport.
Okay, so
You've
let's
done
just go
nothing
around
to
the
change
horn.
me in 30 seconds. No.
Let's go around the horn. Sport, but not an athlete.
Sport, yes. Sport, but not an athlete.
Scott?
Yeah, I'm there.
I'm
Yeah.
going to agree with that definition. Sport, but not an
I say
athlete.
not a sport, not an athlete. Phenomenal activity.
Competition, maybe?
Great competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yes.
he's also the one that thinks the Marines are the most elite fighting force there is. So
That's
let's
facts.
just
That's facts.
fucking let's just go on.
So
Definitions don't
what
necessarily
branch
translate.
do you think would be the best?
Esports
Esports?
competitor,
Oh,
Air Force,
Yeah, Air Force.
Air
yeah.
Force, 100%.
Yeah, dude, 100%.
I think what we can agree on though is that the Navy has never provided us either an athlete or a sport. So right there. Thanks a lot, Navy.
I don't know. I'm outnumbered, but I'm all go Navy, beat Army.
No, okay. The reason
That's because you don't have
no.
a branch to vote
The
for.
reason the Navy,
Navy
Most
doesn't.
of the Navy football
re-
players
the
go
re-
Marine.
the reason the Navy
football's a sport,
listen,
right?
listen.
Football's a sport.
The
Yeah.
reason the
The
Navy,
Navy-
beats the
people in the
Army
Navy aren't athletes.
is because they don't have height and weight standards, and they have a better line. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
They can't be.
Height
The
weight
Army
standards.
dudes
I've
can't
seen
be
a
that.
lot of
weight
fat
standards.
All right, that's a totally different fucking debate.
I've seen a lot of fat Army guys.
And on that point, I'm gonna go. You know what, motherfuckers? Thanks for being my freedom
Thank you,
friends.
fellas.
Y'all know the drill. Push the buttons, like, comment, subscribe.
Subscribe.
And you know what? If you have an idea for a debate, or you have a So No Shit story you'd like to tell on Mainline,
Or if you think esports
Yeah.
competitors
Yeah, fucking
are
chime
athletes,
in.
Listen to comments. Let us know.
If you're offended by this, let us know.
Yeah. If you have an
Fucking
idea for a
nerd.
debate or you have a So No Shit story that you'd like us to tell, freedomfriendspodcast@gmail.com.
Yep.
Or you can send us a message on Facebook,
Instagram,
which some of you guys have already
Slide
done.
in our DMs. Yeah, some of you
Slide
done it.
all up in them DMs.
Yeah. But we
And,
need show no shits. Like, write them out, man.
Yeah.
I
So,
want to hear them.
but until next time, I would like to encourage all of you,
Every one of you.
freedom-loving sons of bitches, and even those of you out there that don't know what freedom is yet, but you're learning because of this show,
and even the nerds.
to smoke on, drink on, and goddamn it,
You freedom the fuck on.
Yes, sir.
Till next time, ladies and gents.
Have a good one. We're out.
It's all the alcohol I had within reach, John.